Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Invite
Shalom.
everyone to take their seats and settle in. It's pretty cold out there today. Yeah, folks who are at home, I hope you're in a warm space, and we hope that this space, even though many of us walked in the freezing cold, are starting to feel warm just by being in the space of community on this Shabbat Shirah, this Shabbat of song. So don't be shy. We're going to do a lot of singing and praying the Shabbat. And so to begin, actually, Rabbi Deborah Sexmans is going to teach us a new nigun, which is one of her own.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It's so nice to be together in this Shabbat of song. So this nigun is going to weave its way throughout our tefillah together over the next day. So we'll just sing it a little and we'll pick it up together. If you'll try this. Hiriram baya ya ba 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 ba. Try that much. Hiriram baya ya ba 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 ba. Yes. Hirirandai rai. Hirirandai rai. Hirirambai hi oh. Hirirambai hi oh. Let's try that much together. Hirirambai hi. Hirirabai. Hiriramnaya. Hirirambai hi oh. One more time. Hirirambai hi. Hirirabai. Hiriramnaya. Hirirambai oh. Next part. Hirirambai try that. Hirirambam hi abai diridayo. Hirirambam hi abai diridayo. Hirirambam bai diridayo babo. Hirirambam hi. Part hiriram bam bai hirira bam bam bai hiriram bam bai ya bam bam bai. Let's try that together. Hiriram bam Hiriram that a little bit later.
Beautiful. So this is a don't be shy singing Shabbat. Everyone has a voice. Everyone has a voice that comes from a deep place. Some of us have songs to sing. We all have different songs to sing. And part of the amazing experience of being together in community is to hear the sound together. And as the Israelites crossed the sea, they sang song, which is what propelled them through and made them feel like a community. So we just want to invite everyone to warm up a little and not be shy in your own song, because it makes a difference in the communal song. Yedid Nefesh, page 10 or page 252.
Yedid Nefesh,
Lechun Ranana, page 11 or page 254.
Lechun Ranana.
Page 15, Adonai Malach Tagala, Yisrael, Rabbi, Manan, Raphael, Sabilat.
שם עבדתי שמח ציון ואתה גאונה בנות יהודה למען משפטך
Page 20.
משה ואהרון בכהונה ושמואל בקורא שמו קוראים אל אדוני והוא יענה מעמוד ענן ידבר אליהם
You may be seated. We're turning now to L'Chadodi to welcome in Shabbat, the Shabbat bride, the beauty of Shabbat, the harmony of Shabbat, the peace of Shabbat. And to just recognize also we may study this midrash tomorrow, but there's a midrash about how the Israelites sang the Song of the Sea, that whether they repeated after Moshe or they said the second half of the line after Moshe. And so as we sing this L'Chadodi, which has a little bit of a back and forth quality to it, we're just going to feel like we're the Israelites crossing the sea. And if you find yourself being in the responsive mode, go for it. If you just want to join together, there's no right way. Even the tradition said there were countless ways that they sang the Song of the Sea. There are countless ways to sing the Chadodi. Page 23 or page 262.
Shabbat.
Kabbalat
be seated, take a deep breath, welcome in Shabbat in fullness as we sing the song for Shabbat on page 27 or page 266. Some kids who are ready for the blessing. They said they came here early just to make sure they would get here on time. So you are on time. So let's go. We invite all the children who are here under the age of bar and bat mitzvah to come under the talit so we can give you a blessing. You're always on time for a blessing. Always on time for a blessing. The talit isn't always on time to cover you, though. We're getting there. There we go. Hamalach hagoel oti. Hamalach hagoel oti mikora. Yevarech et ha'onehari. Marevahem sheli. V'shem Elohim kesara rivka rachel v'leah, yisimcha Elohim ke'Ephraim v'Manasseh, yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha, yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Shabbat shalom. All the children who are going to the special dinner are invited to make their way out through the doors to the community house. And as the children make their way and families make their way, we would invite everyone else who is here to come a little closer, and so we can fill the seats and be a little closer as we sing a nigun. As I said earlier, this is a very special Shabbat, Shabbat Shirah, where the Israelites are released from Egypt, from their enslavement, and they make their way to cross the sea. And tomorrow we'll read the Shirat Hayam, the Song of the Sea. It's a glorious Shabbat after waiting for so long, after so many years of enslavement, after so much grief and pain. And it begins with the word Vayehi. Vayehi b'shalach paro et ha'am. And Pharaoh And it came to pass that Pharaoh sent them away, meaning the Israelites. And in the Talmud, in Megillah, it says, every time it says the word Vayehi, it means distress. So it's only a very Jewish thing to say at the height of the moment when the people of Israel are finally have arrived to freedom, or on their way at least, it's a moment of distress. We can never get 100%, of we finally made it. So the question is, why do the rabbis attribute this opening pasuk, Vayehi, as a moment of distress? And I'd like to offer two commentaries that shed some light on this moment of why it was considered a little bit distressing. And the first is by Rav Tzadok HaKohen, who says, what was the distress when they left Egypt? One of the main purposes he teaches of the plagues was not, of course, only to convince Paro that it was time to let the Israelites go, but to teach the people of Israel to have faith, that God was going to perform signs and wonders to teach them that they would be able to leave and follow God and follow God's word and make their way out of Mitzrayim. And that their yearning for that kind of freedom would be really, really strong. But what does the Rav Tzadok HaKohen teach about this verse, Vayehi, the distress is? If you notice about the verse, and actually it's often translated as when the Israelites were set free. But Bishalach actually means when they were sent out, meaning that Paro sent them out. So it wasn't actually they who wanted the freedom. It was Paro who wanted them out because he wanted the plagues to end. And so what he teaches, Rav Tzadok HaKohen, is that the hope was that they would have a gradual development of yearning for freedom and a strong desire to free themselves from the shackles of Mitzrayim, from Egypt and its depravity. But in the end, after all the plagues and wonders and miracles, the Torah tells us that Paro sent the people away, meaning that the Israelites did not leave Mitzrayim on their own free will, but they were sent away, which was indeed a cause of distress, meaning that they hadn't yet developed the hunger for the freedom. They were enveloped in the experience of what it meant to stay in Mitzrayim. And so that's what he teaches is one form of the distress in this very moment. And Rav Auerbach teaches a different notion of what the distress was. He says this is an indication of what happens so often when striving for a certain goal is finally realized, like you finally get what you've been praying for so long. However, once the goal is realized, it seems to shrink in importance. That you've been striving and striving and striving, and you finally arrive. And once you arrive, it actually gets degraded, the goal. And it becomes a part of the everyday reality. And all the beautiful dreams that you had hoped for about that striving, that goal, then kind of fade into the distance, and all you can see ahead are the problems. And he said that was also true about the people of Israel, that in this moment, when that goal had been realized, all they could see, and we know that to be true in the Torah, is they complained, and they, it wasn't like they were just like, let's do it. There was a lot of hesitation, ambivalence. And so what Rav Auerbach teaches is that when we have this striving, finally we arrive, and then all of a sudden what we were striving for kind of seems to fade in the distance. And in many ways, these two commentaries, I think, speak to different notions of complacency, right? Is that one is a complacency of actually not having a striving at all, right? That the Israelites, in some sense, were enslaved to the status quo. What Rav Tzadok is trying to teach is that they hadn't developed the longing to want to leave, even though they cried out. They didn't have the hunger. And they were, in a sense, habituated to their lives in Mitzrayim. And we see that later also. They were like, be better back there, where we knew what was happening. And so that's one version of complacency where we actually accept it, that in some sense we diminish our hunger for longing, for freedom, for even dreams to exist. And then the other version of complacency is when we strive for so long and arrive at something, all of a sudden we get complacent with where we've arrived to, and we only see the hardship ahead. And both of these notions of complacency, I think, are deeply real in our lives. It's always like we arrive at one moment and then we think, well, either we can only, we've been talking about this a lot about Israel, like arriving at the dream of a state. And then maybe the dream that was in the Declaration of Independence is like, there's a complacency about that dream, which is so powerfully and beautifully articulated. And true in our own personal lives too. You could say that as same as the American dream also. But in our personal lives too, that we forget how grateful we are for having that arrival. And then we get kind of numb to that striving that we arrive to. And then secondarily that, or not secondarily, but also that we are so numb to the desire to long that we are satisfied with the status quo. And I think many of us are feeling that way in the world with so much challenge and horror that it's like we forget that we should be longing for something else, that we should want something else, that we should want peace, that we should want love over hate, that we should want a country that treats everyone with dignity and care and support. And Shabbat is really meant to be a tikkun to those versions of complacency. It's at once a time where we're not striving on the outside. We actually feel grateful for where we arrived to. We're only here, just now. Grateful for having arrived in this moment of sacredness, of pause, to say, wow, where have I been this week? And to kind of cherish the now of this arrival. And simultaneously, Shabbat is the Me'ein Olam Haba, a taste of the world to come, where we imagine that the world could be otherwise. And each week, no matter how hard the week is, we come back to that taste that says, it may be where we are now, but there is another dream that's out there. And we should awaken that longing, that hunger for that vision of the world. So on this Shabbat Shirah, that distress, I always think the rabbis are, the tsuris that they're pointing out here is to teach us to not feel that way, right? They're telling us these commentaries to say, no, don't get into that place. Find an alternative. And so I pray on this Shabbat Shirah that our distress, or how the rabbis describe the distress, is actually an invitation to long and dream just like Shabbat is meant for, and to also recognize how far we've come, and that those two things actually don't have to be in tension. They can live with some kind of creative tension to actually help us not only dream, but realize what dreams already are here. I'll invite everyone now to turn to Baruch Hu, which is on page 39A or 279.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevoma. Adonai Yavach Le'olam Va'ed.
You may be seated.
מצוות צוקים
Top
משפטים.
of page 40, אהבת עולם בית ישראל מחבת
נצליח כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו בהם נגד יומם בלילה ואהבתך התסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל בשבתך ובצאתך ובטחתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרת מאוד ידיך והיו לטוטפות בעיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך שמתם את זה היום אדוני אמת
Adonai Elohim Emet. Top of page 43a. Kol Tov V'Kayam Alinu Ki Adonai Eloheinu V'Yim Zelato U'malchuto beratzon Kiblu Aleihem Moshe u'Miriam U'Bnei Yisrael Lechanu Shira Besimcha Rabba Ve'amru Cholam Haim Yichamocha Va'yerim Adonai Mi Kamocha Nedeh B'Kodesh Nora את יעקב וגלום יד חזק ממנו ברכת אדוני גא ישראל.
We pray for peace, top of page 45. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom B'Midinu Malkeinu L'chaim V'Zalinu Tzedakah Shomech V'Tatnu V'Tatnu
ובצער כנפיך תשימנו כי שומרנו מהצפרות. ופרוס עלינו שלומך ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ועל ירושלים.
Please rise if you're able. Beshamru, page 46 or page 294.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם שמי רבה ועמדי רק ירתה להמליך מלכותי בחייכון וביום לכון וחיי זכור בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן חיים ברוחן ישמי רבה מברך לעולם לעלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קדושה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירם ואלמה ואמרו אמן. We
turn to the silent Amidah, page 47 or page 296. We sink deeply into the longing of the words on the page, the longing in our hearts. Page 53 or page 314. ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך
הקדוש שאין כמוהו.
המניח לעמו ויום שבת קודשו, כי בם רצה להניח להם.
לפניו נעבוד ביראה ופחד, ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד.
נהון הברכות, אל הודעות אדון השלום, מקדש השבת ומורך שביעי.
ומניח בקדושה לעמד ושני עונג, זכר למעשה בראשית.
אלוהינו אלוהי אבותינו ממותינו, רצה במנוחתנו, קדשנו את צאתך ותן חלקנו בתורתך. שבנו מטובך ושמח נפשנו משועתך, ותאר ליבנו לעבדך באמת. והנחילנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה וברצון, שבת קודשך וינוח וישראל מקדשי שמך. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
אמן.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועמדי רק ירצה, בהמליך מחוצה, בחיי חונים ומחונים, בחיי זכור בית ישראל, בגלה בזמן קריב אמרו אמן.
יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ועולמי יתברך וישתבח ויתבר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתלשמד הקודשה. לעילא מן כה בחטא ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמיון מימה ויאמרו
אמן.
תתקבל תורתו נכו ישראל קדמון משמיים ואמרו
אמן. יש תמר רבה מן שמיים וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עשה שלום We continue with Kiddush. We'll take a pause as we hand out grape juice here in the sanctuary, and we'll invite those joining us from wherever you may be. Also, if you have a glass of wine, some grape juice, a little something to sanctify this beautiful Shabbat, the Shabbat of our freedom, of our crossing the sea, our redemption, page 55. Or if you're using Sim Shalom, page 316. 316.
אשר קידשנו מצוותיו ורצה בנו, ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי באנו בחרת ואותנו מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
L'chaim. We continue with Aleinu, page 56, facing the ark.
עלינו לשבח
שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, שמנו כמשפחת האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגואלנו ככל המונם. ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך
ככתוב בתורתך לאדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. We continue with Mourner's Kaddish, inviting all in mourning or marking a yahrzeit to remain standing, and those who are joining us on Zoom to unmute. We'll just take a pause to allow those who are joining us virtually to unmute. Yitgadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma Divra Kirutei, Ve'amlich Malchutei, B'chayechon, U'v'yomechon, U'v'chayei Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala, V'zman Kariv, V'imru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah, Mevarach, Le'olam Olamei Omaya. Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Yitpa'ar, Yitromam, Yitnaseh, Yitadar, Yitaleh, Yitalal, Shemei Kusha B'richu, La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiram ve'alma, v'imru, Amen. Yehi Shalama Rabba min Shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom mimama, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, Amen. May be seated. Shabbat shalom to everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
On this chilly but warm inside Shabbat, I hope everyone's feeling a little bit warmer now. We say Mazal Tov to Deborah Cabanis and her family who's here on her becoming a Bat Torah tomorrow morning during services, and to Ariella Noy and Reuben Lowy on their recent engagement, to Isaac Finkel and Kim Leslie Shafar and Abigail on the engagement of their son and brother Nathan Finkel, and to Abigail Rochlin, and to David Fitterman on the birth of his grandson Leo Isaac Fitterman, and to Alyssa and Dan Doctoroff on the birth of their granddaughter Naomi Josephine Salinger, and daughter of Ariel Doctoroff and Phil Salinger. And finally to Panina Schramm on the publication of Jewels, teasing out poetry in Jewish humor and storytelling, for which she provides lead commentary alongside with author Steve Zeitlin. So Mazal Tov to all of them. And we will invite all who are registered for the community dinner for the Aviv 20s, 30s, and 40s community dinner to join us downstairs. Even if you haven't, I hope there's a little bit of room. You can check in with Margaret, who's back there. Please do join us. That'll be in Frankel Hall, so if you leave through the back door on the left and just straight down the steps. Tomorrow morning, we'll be gathering at 9:30 a.m. for more Shabbat Shirah, for singing, for praise, and for joy, and for beautiful services. And then following services at 12:45, we have a lecture that will be happening in the chapel. The Poetry Remembers, the Heart Sings, and we'll have Professor Sofia Grandakovska, who is joining us to share some learning. And after we enjoy a really beautiful and song-filled Shabbat, one of hopeful freedom and longing and opportunity for joy, we will end Shabbat at 6:10 tomorrow on Zoom together. 6:10 tomorrow, Aravit and Havdalah. But that is not where it ends, because you have the opportunity to continue singing. We've crossed the sea, but that doesn't mean the song stops. And so at 7 p.m., Una Noche en Monastir, a night of Balkan and Ladino music. We are grateful to Don and to joining musicians who will be with us in the Mickey Levin concert series for a night of beautiful music. Please do join us, 7 p.m. And on Sunday, we have the Environmental Advocates Tu B'Shvat Seder. Tu B'Shvat is on the horizon. We were singing the Tu B'Shvat Nigun in our service services. And so we're going to be having the Tu B'Shvat Environmental Seder at 4 p.m. You can find information after Shabbat on the website for that. And you can also reserve seats for upcoming Shabbatot that we have community dinners. So on February 17th, Shabbat dinner with Cantor Dave Mintz will be happening. He'll be hosting, and please join us. And then on the 24th, community Shabbat dinner for 30s and 40s. So you can register for both of those on our website after Shabbat. And with that, we will say a Shabbat Shalom to everyone. We'll invite you to turn to page 362 if you're using a Lev Shalem. And we're going to get into this shir for this beautiful Shabbat of crossing the sea.
שיר חדש, אשיר ושמר, ארגיש בעדת העיר. אז ישיר משה ישראל, השירה הזאת אדוני. אז ישיר משה ישראל, השירה הזאת אדוני.
That's the refrain, just so everyone knows that.
שבח אותי לו, הללויה, הללויה, לאדוני. אז ישיר משה ישראל, השירה הזאת לאדוני. אז ישיר משה ישראל, השירה הזאת לאדוני.
Adonai Yavarech et Amav Bashalom. May it be a Shabbat, a beautiful Shabbat of blessings and of many, many songs to sing. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.